and she's going to do love songs with you, but I'm also going to sign up over there, but she's going to do another type of song.
Yeah, hits. We're going to do some hits over there, make loads of money, but
and
with you...
Like, help me understand that. And then he was like, no, you help me understand that. Tai came by, and I was like, yo, that's Tai. And mind you, Jay's there, and I'm a massive fan of Jay.
Was it Jay-Z?
Yeah, Jay's sitting down, and he's just like did a peace sign. I want to give my daughter her Taylor Swift. I want to give her Kendrick Lamar, her.
So that she can see herself in.
She can see herself in, but it has to be done at a certain level, bro, and the sound.
My trick is that my home life is so amazing that I go to war with the world to protect it every day. And for me, it's so self-motivating. Welcome to the Hot Seat, a look behind the scenes of the music business from the characters that make things happen. Today we've got the legendary Shabz. He's come all the way out here to tell us his story and some of the things we don't know about him already, because he's an absolute legend. Shabz, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you, brother.
Respect, Rich, man.
Nice love.
I appreciate you having me here, man.
No, I'm really excited for you to be on here. We've known each other for a long time, and you've done incredible things in the business.
Thank you.
I just want to sort of share with the audience sort of your story, some of the things you're working on, and just sort of so that the next young Shabz is inspired to go out there and and challenge themselves and do amazing things like you have in the music business.
But before we start, I just want to just big you up, man. Like, Rich, you're an incredible being, firstly, and then the amount of work you've done in this business is incredible.
Thank you, man.
And respect for having me here. I saw what you was doing, and I reached out to you.
Yeah,
so
which I
let's have that clear.
No, I rate it. I love it. The fact that you reached out, but when you did, I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know you would even like be entertained being on something like this.
You know what? It's all about, unfortunately, like, because we're behind the scenes, we have to be selective, right?
Yeah.
And it was Artie in my office that was like, Shabz, have you seen what Rich is doing? And I saw it straight away. I was like, hey, Rich, you need to get me on. But anyway,
no, you were absolutely right. I was gassed when you hit me. I was like, right, it's actually connecting. Thank you. Appreciate it. So I just want to dive in. I want to sort of start off the earlier sort of years of you getting into the music business. And what was your and I do this a lot because I want people to understand sort of behind the character. What was your family dynamic? Where were you raised? Like, how big is your family, and whereabouts in the UK were you brought up?
No, I appreciate it, man. I'm born and raised in southwest London, Battersea. Born in St Francis Hospital, Lambeth. My parents are both Indian, Pakistani descent. Well, Indian descent, but they both nations got created in 1947, and then it's a whole historical mess.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Battersea. My parents came over in the 60s. My father first, and then we're five siblings. I'm a twin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're a twin.
Yeah,
bro.
I've got a twin sister.
Okay.
Shout out my sister Sabina, man.
Big up Sabina.
Yeah.
But
yeah, born a very Indian household.
Okay.
Right? And I say that to say this, where Bollywood was the soundtrack of the house.
Yeah.
VHS and that was before the internet. That was your connection home.
With the culture and everything that's popping.
Absolutely, especially for my mum and dad, right? Being at this, they're learning the language as they move along, and the whole environment. So watching Indian movies for them was like, all right, we're back home. And then all of us, when I say all of us, the siblings were equally indulged in that. Like, okay, is this what it looks like back home? And the language was also being picked up, both from speaking to our parents, but also picking it up from the movies.
From the movies, yeah.
And my parents had a very sort of strict rule in the house where we didn't converse with them in English. You converse with them in the mother tongue.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was, and I appreciate it.
So you learned your native tongue naturally without sort of having to go studying anyway.
Exactly that, bro. Exactly that. And it's a blessing. So we used to only converse with them in Hindi. And it was a very melting pot, Battersea, right? Specifically, that's where we was born and raised. Because it was predominantly like a Jamaican neighbourhood.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so it was beautiful to sort of like share each other's migration, food, mannerism, and you can see the similarities, right? Because whereas today, I believe in today's world, people tend to see the differences, right?
Yeah.
Whereas back then we would look for the similarities.
Yeah.
It was the other way around, right? So there was more love. Like, oh, you like that? I like this. You lot have pepper? We have pepper.
Yeah. You like spices? We like spices.
It's exactly that.
Same.
And that's when the education also happened as well, where you could see where historically Indian and Caribbean influences because it was the food. You could tell I'm a foodie, right?
Yeah. No, you can't tell.
Oh, okay, respect. You're being kind. So that's where we started. So I say all of that to say that that's where we sort of learned the strength of being who you are while living in England, London, South London. So that's where there's sort of
I love that, and obviously I'm from Nottingham as well, so I've got a similar mix culturally. A lot of Indian, Pakistani, Jamaican. It was sort of, I think, the last sort of, I'd say 20 to 30 years, there's been a lot more African influence in the UK. But I was raised in a very Caribbean and Indian and Pakistani sort of area sort of thing. So my culture was always mixed in with that sort of thing. So I totally get where you come from. So you're raised with that. You got 5 siblings. How was music sort of introduced to you in the house? I know you said Bollywood, but were people playing music? Were you doing DJ sets? How were you sort of discovering artists when you were young, and what were you listening to at home?
Yeah, great question, man. So obviously I've already explained the Bollywood soundtrack, right? So out of all our siblings, me and my twin sister were the youngest, and my 2 eldest brothers, my brother Joad and Dan, they were very swing beat. Like
R&B,
the whole Teddy Riley era.
Okay.
Albie Shaw.
Oh shit, yeah. Dope.
So they were very super guy. They were so
genuine, Tony, all that real R&B like vocal stuff.
Exactly. So they will be pumping that in the house, and that was the era, swing beat era of all the house parties, and so they'll be going out. Obviously, they're like 8-9 years older than me, but then hearing them play their music, me and my brother Seth would listen to them and go, "Right, what's this?" And
just Seth is a legend as well.
Seth's a big legend,
you got to talk about Seth. We'll get to Seth in a minute. I'm interested in diving in on him because I know how amazing he is. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, man. So that was the introductory to the whole swing beat, R&B, and hip hop as well. But not so much the dark hip hop.
Okay. Not the sort of gangster shit.
This was like the Big Daddy Kane when he was doing the stuff with Jodeci, and then the R&B was coming into. I don't want to give this hard nut hip hop story.
It wasn't. It was melodic. It was like melodic. About love and movement. It went about crud.
It wasn't. So that's where all of that was, and that's where the fusion of both brown and black music fusion was happening in our household. So that's where it started.
Okay, sick. And were you like? I remember like Patchy Indian. I remember there was lots of like Indian and sort of like, I just think black culture crossover, where there was a lot of acts that were coming out that were mixing like rap with Hindi and sort of stuff. Were you across any of that sort of stuff when you were growing up as well?
Yeah, I mean, like, you come across it from the outside, but I wouldn't say I wasn't indulged in it. So to speak. But shout out Apache Indian and UK Apache as well.
UK,
yeah. I mean, he's from South London as well. We got to own that one.
Yeah, of course.
But you can see the influences, as I said, from food, but then you can see that the Bhangra era as well was happening.
Yeah.
And that was being taken from reggae sampling, dubs, that really little dubby sort of sound, mixing it with the Bhangra sound.
Yeah.
So you could always feel, and I could always feel and see that influence of Jamaican culture specifically, right? Because many people say black culture, but black culture could be so many.
No, you said it was Jamaican. It was sound system, innit?
It was sound system, and that was another big thing where I grew up, was the sound system era as well. So all of that.
And did that lead you to sort of like? Obviously, I'm going to touch on the sort of So Solid thing. How did that come together? And was it through the sound system stuff that you ended up sort of being a part of that situation? How was that even birthed? I'm so curious about how that came together. It's such a legendary time in the UK for cultured music. Can you talk me through like the sort of your entry point into that and how that even happened?
So the Soul Singer thing came about where me, Mega, Swiss, K, Shu sang 21 Seconds, and Seth, our gardens were almost backed up to each other.
Oh, right. Look, like literally, oh, wow,
yeah,
I didn't know.
We were like 2-3 gardens away, but we lived on the same estate. And I'm on about from the age of like 8-9, we all sort of met each other. And there was that mutual understanding of love of R&B and music. So that's where that sort of like relationship started happening. And the love
from age 9, you said?
From the age of 9.
Raw,
yeah.
Okay.
Mega, Keish are a bit older than me and Swiss, and Seth as well. Me and Swiss are the same age.
Okay. So is Seth older than you?
Seth's older than
me. I always thought he was younger than you.
Yeah, people think that. And I hope it's not because of the skin or anything else. It's the maturity.
You look well younger.
Not to say Seth's immature, but...
No, you're very mature, that's what it was.
Oh, I appreciate it. You said it. So that's where that happened, that relationship and a love for music. So we was like an R&B group back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What were you called?
We was called Too Hype, Too Young.
Too Hype, Too Young? Yeah. Oh, was you singing then? Or was you producing?
I was singing.
Oh, like, raw. I need to see. Is anything on the internet I can...
Nah.
Nah, it can't.
And if it was, I would have got it straight.
Took it off.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But that's where that sort of musical journey and the love for music and performance started happening, and that relationship. So that's where that happened. And then years down the line, obviously, we was a self-managed group. We're just watching what ABC's doing from the swing beat era and everyone else.
Yeah.
So that sort of fizzled out. And then some of us indulged in the street curriculums of hustling.
Yeah. Trying to make money however you could.
Yeah, exactly. But then shout out to Mega, because Mega then he joined the sound system.
Okay.
Because as I said, there was this heavy influence of sound system going on. So Mega joined that when he was probably, I'm going to guess Mega might have been 16.
Okay.
And I had to have been about 14.
Okay.
So in Battersea, there was loads of like them all-dayers happening. So,
okay. And day raves.
Day raves and all in youth clubs. So we used to attend that as well. Like the whole community would just pull up and just go in there. So I say that to say this, that's where Mega was then introduced to, I don't want to tell too much of his story, but that's where he met Romeo.
Okay, got it.
In the sound system. And Romy's from Battersea as well, but from another part of another estate. So that's where they met. And then the whole Soul Solid thing was, I believe when him and Romeo had met, and Mac as well, shout out Mac, they started forming their relationship, and then came the whole garage era.
Got it, okay.
And then they had gone off onto Pirate Radio Station, and they were MCing over the beats. But then in between that, I mentioned my two brothers. My eldest brother, Dan, he was studying music.
Okay.
So he had a studio set up in our loft.
Oh, right. So you had a space to actually record?
Yeah, with whole heap of dust mites.
Okay.
This in the loft. There weren't no, like, my parents, again, weren't on this whole heavily insulation and...
No.
Let's get the roof on. So my brother he used his initiative and built a studio in there with just plywood.
He actually built it himself, though. He actually physically...
Do you know what? The way it looked like, I would say he did. I don't know who done it, but it was shambolic.
Yeah, but someone made an effort to do it themselves.
Pure splinters. You go in there, you brush the wall, you're
it's finished. You're
there for 2 hours trying to take the splinters out. So I used to indulge in just making beats, but it was more like R&B, hip-hop style beats.
Stuff you've been raised on, sort of thing, yeah.
And you're just playing by the ear. You got the keyboard, you're just playing with kicks and snares, and I just enjoyed it.
It's vibes.
But then when Mega and that started forming years down the line, Mega's got to be like 19, 20. The whole garage thing was happening. I remember I heard a beat, and it was Oh No on White Label.
Oh No, that's the big tune.
Big tune. And them days I was heavily influenced by what Timbaland was doing.
Okay.
And there's a sample in Oh No that was taken from a Timbaland beat.
Oh, really?
And I remember that opened my eyes to be like, hold on, this garage sound, which I did rate, but I wouldn't say I loved.
Yeah.
But when I heard the R&B hip hop Timbaland sample in there, and then the heavy bass line cutting through, and it was more like to me, it wasn't a typical garage bass line, like doom, 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 doom. And when I realised who produced it was Mega, I was like, yo, garage you can experiment really and truly on a production level with R&B hip hop. So then I immediately went in my room and started making beats with the garage, but bringing in an R&B element.
Sick.
That's where the love of the fusion happened. And cut a long story short, I then created a record, and I put Mac on there from Soul Solid. He's one of the founders as well. On a tune, Seth was already singing.
Yep.
I put Seth on the hook, and that record started creating his own life. And then Mega heard that and was like, yo, you making beats now? I was like, yeah. Then he was like, you might as well just join us, Shabz. Like, we started this journey as Too Hot, Too Young. What better way to carry on than what we're doing at Soul Solid? So I joined Soul Solid.
And how long were you a part of Soul Solid for?
I was with Soul Solid from like the late 90s all the way till as an active member till about 2004-05.
Wow, so you're right through the sort of the height of all of it.
Yeah, I'm still a Soul Solid member.
Yeah, you're still all now.
All now, but as an active member, because after that there was some trial and
there's some back and forths, as we like to say, back and forths.
Yeah. And then everyone started finding, that's the beautiful part of Soul Solid, everyone started finding their journey. Because you know this, Rich, man. When you enter the business for the first time, it's never gonna be where you end up.
Of course not. No. It's always
life. It's a massive
things happen, and you evolve.
You evolve.
Yeah, situations change,
and we're still evolving.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like where we was last year or 2 years ago, or whatever position and company. We're meant to be on that journey.
Exactly. I always look at that in the most positive way forward. I think the universe pulls you to where you need to be, and I think a lot of the time it's very easy to sort of be negative about sort of change. And I think we all go to somewhere where we're meant to be. And I think the main thing is sort of trying to sort of make sure you learn from whatever you've done before. So I think if you carry that forward, you're always going to do better no matter what you're doing.
100%. And just to add on that evolution and on your journey, even at DESI TRILL, which we'll get into, the company that I've co-founded, the staff that I have, right, I shouldn't call them staff, the team, the family members that have working with us and for DESI TRILL, I have the same conversation with them. Like, you feel this is an eternity, sort of what we're doing. I'm like, I would love that to be the case, but you're on your journey. You're incredible. I'll just hope you stay with me as long as you can.
Yeah.
But this is all about evolving, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be sad to see anyone leave, and hopefully they're not watching this. But it's just all part of the journey.
No, it is part of the journey. I mean, I always think you've done a really good job if they leave and they crack on and do well. I think that's the aim, is to sort of have someone do better than you and to sort of outdo you. And your bar is supposed to be very high, and you pray to God that whoever's around you outdoes you. You start having your children, you want your children to do better than you. It's the same thing. So I think there's no harm in people leaving. I think there's always an opportunity for you to build with that person and use some of their sort of goodness in what you're doing, and you can give them a protection, a shield around them, and allow them to grow as executives, knowing that you've learned most of the lessons they're about to sort of run into by accident, sort of thing.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is not even a pride thing, because we have this mentality of where we come from, especially from South London. So I want to say, selfishly, we want to put people on, because if tomorrow you do better than me, you can put me on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if yesterday you was under me, or, for example, I say that respectfully, but then tomorrow I want you to be above me, but then you anchor me up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the sort of mindset that we always have. Like, no one ain't better than each other. We're all learning. But if I can bring you in and you end up doing great,
yeah.
That's my.
Of course. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, just go back to the So Solid stuff. So, you've gone through the sort of the chaos of the success of all of that. What was your sort of like moment of like the height of it? What was your best memory of being a part of that process?
Do you know what my best memory is? If I'll be honest, it was the whole process of the DIY of how So Solid did it. That to me is the biggest, my biggest learner, teacher. That's where I get loads of my leadership skills from. Was actually being a part of that whole process. I'm so blessed to have been a part of that, to see it through. And I say that to say this, where it resonated with me then how important it is to build a community.
Yeah.
To focus on your community and cut the noise of the record labels and where that the monetization of money.
Yeah.
It's pure passion and community. So that was my biggest, fondest sort of memory, like as a whole, looking back at So Solid, was like the DIY process.
I love that. You can't teach that. You can't, unless you experience that and go through that sort of day-to-day, hand-to-hand combat of like going through decision-making on songs, promo, trying to get to radio on time, making sure you've done enough shows to sort of make enough money to keep the business alive. That whole sort of business thing is really tricky unless you're in it, and I think there's a lot of learning, a lot of fun in that process. So you must have seen some absolutely crazy stuff that you can't talk about. But I'm quite curious about that. But maybe when the camera's off, we'll dig in. We'll dig in a bit deeper. I want to moving on from that section. Obviously, legendary moment in the UK music business, and then what I remember is you and the K-Coke sort of years, and I'm assuming that's how you connected with the Rock Nation guys. But I'd love to sort of just that period of time. How did that come about? How did you sort of connect with Tai initially, and what was what were the bridging stories between going from So Solid into that?
Okay, great question. How that happened was, it was in 2005, I believe it was. One of my really close friends, he's my brother. Shout out Dan. he was getting into the promotional business of promoting international artists. So he had gone and booked Dipset, American rappers. Yeah. And he'd gone on his own journey and done that. And we was all chilling in my studio one day in Southfields. And he'd come to me and he was like, I'm meeting these guys, the whole Dipset lot, Rockefeller crew. Could you come with me? And I was like, nah, I got stuff happening. I'm just trying to focus. I'm figuring things out.
Yeah.
Because I've just, the transition from So Solid to now, I'm looking into management, A&R, and how does this work. So I'm really focused on
the business.
On the business and developing artists. So he was like, please come, because these are music execs. If anyone asks me questions, because he's a real street kid.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, so he's like, please come. So he actually convinced me to come as like just accompanying him there. And there was a bunch of us. So we'd all gone and we were all in our X5s. And, you know, you just...
moving wild and young, yeah.
Wild and young. So we've all gone down there and I've just jumped in a car. Like, all right, cool, I'll follow you. And then we've gone to, I think it was Park Lane, yeah. It was I can't remember what hotel it was. It was on the roundabout. Not the Landscape.
It's Intercontinental?
Nah, I don't think if it's there. It's something Landscape. So we've got...
Oh, Lanesborough.
I think it was the
Lanesborough on the corner, yeah. It doesn't even look like a hotel. It's like, I know that because I know that's the Tai and those guys, they stay there. That's how I found out that place. Brilliant. Through Jay Brown.
Shout out Jay Brown, man. And Tai. So when I'd gone there, I instantly saw Tai. And I remember Tai because I was watching the Up in Smoke tour.
Okay.
The backstage tour. When Rough Riders, Jay-Z all go on his tour. And I remember Tai's character in there.
Yeah, he's like,
hilarious in that.
Funny. Yeah. And he's not a big guy either, so he's a little guy, but he has the energy of a 6 foot, 7 foot tall man. Like it's crazy.
That's crazy because that stood out to me, right? And where it stood out to me as well is a bit funny. JD, you know the producer.
Yeah, Dreddy.
Dreddy used to always play the DVD as well, so we all had a copy. But then we went on a Christina Aguilera tour, so on a tour bus. He would always play it. And
so you say we were you and who? So Solid.
Yeah.
You supported Christina Aguilera.
Yeah,
that is the most random. Okay, all right, that's mad. Let that sink in. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I remember we used to always watch that on tour with the trees in our hands and just watching it. And that's where Tai I would always laugh at the bit. There was this joke on there with the ice buckets with him and Beanie Siegel. So Tai just stood out to me. So when we was in the hotel, Tai came by and I was like, yo, that's Tai. And mind you, Jay's there and I'm a massive fan of Jay.
Was it Jay-Z?
Yeah, Jay sitting down and he's just like did a peace sign. But then it was Tai that stood out for me. Like, I was like, that's Tai. That's the guy. Like, I'm a fan of his just from his personality.
Yeah.
So me and him got talking. And there was this like instant sort of like understanding.
Yeah, like a connection.
But it was more like, because we were just talking in general. Tai was like, yo, what's up, guys? There was like 15 of us and we were just talking. But then one of my guys in between the conversation was like, no, he's a music producer. Them man, they have done this and they've sold X amount of records. And Tai was like, yo, black people sell records out here. Yeah. And he saw the cars outside. He was like, all right, man, you guys, it's like a movement. Like, so he was like, you know what I mean? So me and him got talking and then that's where we sort of connected. And I remember that evening they were not performing. Jay-Z had I forgot the name of the club now in West End, man.
Oh, he had the was it 10 Rooms or Pigalle Club?
No, it wasn't Movida.
Yeah, I remember the average. God, yes, I've had some.
So they were like, yo, we got a party at Movida. Shabz come through. So I was like, all right, I'll come through. So I went by there that night, and then we just connected. Like, again, Tai, shout out Beehive is Jay's cousin.
Okay.
We all connected, like, on a very mutual, real level.
Yeah.
And that's where the relationship started happening. That's where it's like, everyone had Blackberries.
Yeah,
the blue one with the scrolling.
Yep.
I didn't have one. So literally the next day, I went to wherever store it was and took a contract.
Copper warehouse, you were like, yeah.
And I got the Blackberry just to stay in contact with them.
Okay.
And that's where the emails back and forth was happening. In my mind, this was the two-way that they always talk about.
Yeah, the two-way in the rap song, they always talk about, yeah, of course.
And it wasn't that. It was just emails. So I bought that and then that's where we started developing a relationship. And always Rich head out to New York every other month just to sit in Def Jam building.
Yeah.
Play Thai beats, but more observe.
And taking the culture of how they're running their business and okay.
It was more of a mindset I was looking for. I was like, because by then we'd already I've already tasted what success is in my mind.
Yeah, you've had hits. You've been around the UK. You've done the route in the UK. So you want to go and experience what the rest of the world had to offer, sort of vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because being so passionate and a true advocate of black music, So Solid, major awards, wherever, all the incredible achievements, I just knew we stopped at Scotland.
Yeah.
I just knew this is where it stops.
Yeah. So there was a ceiling on it.
It was a ceiling. Even I mentioned the Christina Aguilera tour, but then that got cancelled. No, we was meant to go on a European tour, but because we got banned everywhere, that got pulled off.
Okay, got it.
So then I was like, yeah, this is Scotland and back.
Yeah.
How do we move on? So then when I had this opportunity, I would always go in the Def Jam building and just watch how these guys operate, man, and how Tai is. He just signed Neo.
Oh wow!
So I will always see Neo in his office.
To Def Jam.
To Def Jam.
Yeah.
So I'll always see Neo. This is before Neo even had Soul Sick, and he was like, "Oh, this is my artist. I just signed him." So I'd always see Neo and his manager Tango.
Big up Tango. I know. I've been out to Atlanta to sit with them, to stay with them guys.
Yeah, big up Tango as well. So I was watching all of that, and then 2 months down the line, Neo comes out with Soul Sick. It's #1 everywhere, and I'm like, yo, but I was watching that. I saw him in the office. I've seen him 6 times. So all of that started resonating with me, and how they just like not almost decide on records, but how they operate. Like it's not as deep as what we think it is. It's not as sitting in a boardroom with a white.
It's not as scientific. It's sort of. It's not. What is it? Just to explain it. Is it more like a vibe? Do they just like instinct and impulse?
That's what it is.
Okay.
And to be fair, that's what Soul Solid was built on.
Yeah.
I was the producer. The guys were rapping, writing the lyrics, MCing, all the. There was no one guiding us what to do. When we made Oh No, when we made Casualty, when we made Haters, Broken Science, no one's standing over my shoulder.
So do you think, and just on that point, do you think a lot of the challenges with music breaking in the UK is because of the A&Rs that are sort of over-analysing this stuff and sort of sanitising it, or do you think some artists need it and some artists don't, sort of thing? What's your thoughts on it?
Do you know what? I think it's that. I think some artists just need a bit of critiquing.
Yep.
And there's others that have already built their community. You just got to let them grow.
Let them just run their course.
You got to let them run their course. But then you would know this, Rich, better than me. Like, there's some artists. When you start hitting what we call pop, but mass sales.
Yeah.
There's little critiquing like you got to do. Like the melodies always work.
Yeah.
The hook is very important. And that's where we come in.
Yeah, the hooks, the structuring can be very important, because we also know, depending on whether it's radio or whether it's DSPs, there's a window of time you've got to capture people in order to sort of get the opportunity to be heard properly.
Exactly. And you did it really well, because I remember N-Dubs.
Yeah, we were forensic with that.
Right? And I remember seeing you early doors doing that, like in Brixton, I think it was.
Probably the Dairy. Yeah, of course.
And that's when I was like, oh, Rich. And we met then, and I also was watching your journey.
Yeah.
And I think it was at Nadia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching that closely, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Like how you guys have taken what these three incredible kids are doing, and then just a little tweaking.
Yeah, they had it all. They just needed. I've said this before. I think my role as an executive has always been to fill the gaps, to fill the sort of weak spots that people don't have and cover them, so they're allowed to sort of run through the door properly with their art. And my job is to keep it open and to stop idiots and everyone from fucking it up.
Exactly.
Sort of thing. And it's less of a creative role than it is a protection.
Exactly, 100%. And another thing is what you mentioned about the A&Rs. Back then, A&Rs were very valuable, meaning we had rules of radio.
Yeah.
Right? You had rules at Radio 1.
I mean, Radio 1 used to send emails around how they need to receive music. I used to see a note to say, look, you need to have for us to take this seriously. And you'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's what we got to do, sort of thing. And I've seen artists get dropped for not getting on the playlist at Radio 1 at the time when Radio 1 was breaking everything. So you understand why an executive would take that so seriously, because it could be the difference between an act working and not working.
Exactly, and I feel like that's what the A&Rs were great at back then.
Yeah,
was almost translating what this is to how it can be
served to the masses,
and also fit into your playlisting.
Yeah,
and the rest of it. So, whereas today's the difference is radio is almost obsolete.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite obsolete, but I agree. It doesn't have the influence that you have whether you're breaking or not.
Exactly. And the reason I say almost obsolete is because our demographics of community, especially in black music,
yeah,
right, doesn't really live on radio anymore. It lives on their phones.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts now and whatever.
TikTok, all of it, yeah.
And some Spotify playlisting. Because I remember last year was a big deal getting playlisting, whereas today it's like, it's not... It's always shifting, right? But
and the next year it'll be something else.
Exactly. So I say that to say this: back then it was important to have an A&R that could translate.
Yeah.
But we was learning this ourselves. Shout out Glyn Akins because he was that bridge with what we was doing as So Solid.
Yeah.
Raw, uncut, and we was producing it from scratch. But then he would have that sensibility behind it, like, okay, turn it into this, turn it into that. Because even the Mandem story on 21 Seconds, it was between G and Mega, and especially G at the time, was like, I want to showcase the whole crew.
Yeah.
And we're talking, was it 9 MCs?
That's a lot on one song. You got like 3.5 minutes. That's like 10, I don't know what the math is on that. It's like 20 seconds each.
21 seconds each.
21 seconds. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, of course, yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. It's like, and this is why I rate G's are real numbers, man. Real Jamaican. So he was like, if there's 3.5 minutes, because again, the rules of radio.
Yeah.
Right? We was told that. And back then, Radio 1 was the key because of the amount of reach it had.
Yeah.
And then it was like, how do I put 9? So he did the whole 3.5, 3 minutes, whatever, divided by 9 MCs. It's 21 seconds. So he was like, everyone gets 21 seconds. You know what I mean?
Probably I just walked into that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I remember Glyn was laughing at that. Like, what, you lot are going to do 9 MCs on a song? Good luck, mate. And it came back as 21 seconds. Everyone's got 21 seconds. So it's all of that, taking what was the format back then.
Crazy.
It's genius.
That's absolutely genius. And you know what? It's mad. I might be wrong here, but I had a hit with a record called Body with Tion Wayne, and I'm pretty certain we've got 9 MCs on the remix that actually broke the record, which is mad. I'll fact check that after this, but
yeah.
It's mad. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. But again, it goes to show where the game was at back then and how we was as raw and cut with an A&R.
Yeah.
So A&R was still important.
It's, like I said, A&R, that layer of protection, that layer of sort of, I've got to put it into the machine, so they sort of help you format it.
Exactly. So. But the creative process should be
left to the artist.
And we're true advocates of that even till today.
Yeah.
Like, we let the artist lead their tribe. It's like, this is your tribe, you lead it. I'm just in the back. I might have 1 or 2 suggestions.
Yeah. But if you feel strongly, push back and we'll keep it moving. I'm of the same energy as you. I
love that. And I always tell anyone that I work with and the artists, if you argue with me, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you're passionate and you're not just doing something, winging it because...
Yeah, there's a purpose behind it. If you're arguing because you care and because you believe.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm here for that too.
I love that, and that's what I always go through. And I'm stay quiet, like, because I know I want to give it to them, whatever they're asking.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
you got to challenge. You got to back and forth. You've got to be whatever the end result is. It has to be a result of some sort of not trial and error, but sort of back and forth, some wrestling. I always think about me and the artist. I love having a wrestling match on a song, and then the best of the song will come out that way because we'll filter all the BS.
And it's all trial. You know what though, Rich? It is all trial and error. Like,
it is.
We got to go a bit left to go right, to go left to go right, to go bam. We're in the middle now.
Love that.
Let's go.
Love that. Which takes me to the next section, which is obviously we spoke about Sorry, we didn't talk about K-Cope, but the Rock Nation connection, and then. You've now, I'm jumping heavily ahead, but the DESI TRILL label, genre, how was that conceived and why did you feel you needed to do that? I just want to know some backstory so people understand what it is.
Yeah, so with DESI TRILL, I'm bringing in, with DESI TRILL, a lot of my upbringing, right?
Yeah.
Where I said I grew up in a really Indian household, but grew up in black culture, black community. And I loved how it was a fight for us from the late 90s to mid 2000s of us not just pushing garage but pushing black music.
Yeah.
And that fight, that whole sort of teaching has always been embedded in me. And I never saw race or colour because my friends never let me know, Shabz, you're an Indian, man, or you're brown. Like,
yeah.
No one's ever done that. And I appreciate that so much. So that whole fight and understanding of what it takes to break culture, to break melanin into... Because historically, British, well, obviously, let's have it all right, British music has been very dominated with rock bands and as a sound.
Globally, outside of it's an export in British music. It's always been either big rock bands, where you're talking Rolling Stones or whoever, or solo vocalists.
Exactly, and culture music or black music has always been living on pirate radio. Right, Kiss was a pirate radio, So Solid at the Light FM. So we know what it means to fight through that with our community to then get onto the pedestal. So what happened was with DESI TRILL, I've always paid attention to the South Asian scene. Yeah. It's always been flourishing.
Yeah.
It's always
hence you with Bollywood, watching Bollywood as you growing up, and I think more so because of the internet, we see it now. It's thriving. It's such a like buoyant sort of territory.
100%. But I got to give it to the Bhangra scene, which is a sound that was created in the UK mainly by the guys from up Birmingham.
Yeah.
It's a real migration sound. But the younger generation of Bali Sagus, Dr. Zeus, these guys are the real pioneers. They're the real kings for me, where they were fusing the whole reggae, dub, like I was saying earlier, hip-hop into Punjabi lyrics of culture. So that was a great representation, and these guys have always been doing their thing.
Yeah.
So how DESI TRILL came out was I was paying attention to how West African culture through Afro beats was rightfully so hitting the mainstream now. Where I saw when the Bunch came in.
Yeah, big song. And
I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, we all grew up.
And it felt pure. It felt like a proper cultural, like the music. It didn't feel like someone had gone and bastardized the culture. It felt real to me as well.
It was, but it was so... I was watching everyone else's reaction because we've grown up with West Africans and we've always known how beautiful, rich the culture is, and the food is amazing, the people are amazing. But to now have everyone else enjoy it, I was like, this sound of Afro beats is incredible. So I was paying attention to that, seeing what WizKid was doing, and so forth. And I was like, I almost felt like DESI TRILL, the South Asian market, or as people, even though they're thriving.
Yeah.
I can never take away what they've already done and doing. But I was like, with this strength and this learning that we've had of kicking down doors, that's what I wanted to do.
Love that.
So when I sat there, I came out with the name DESI TRILL. DESI is a very terminology, almost the same as saying Afro or African. And DESI is a terminology used for South Asians everywhere. And the TRILL element was keeping that true and real sort of like hip hop element to it.
Yeah. When I hear the word TRILL, DESI TRILL, I just think South Asians, but I think with almost like hip hop, like with teeth on it, with like a bit of edge.
Exactly. So that's how that name came up for me, like DESI TRILL. And then I tried it many years ago as a .com.
Okay.
I tried to copy GRM Daily.
Yeah.
This is in 2012, I believe it was. It didn't work.
Okay.
But again, that passion.
But you learned loads from that process, I'm assuming.
I learned loads, but it was more so like the passion of it. It was like, because I just did it more so to just, I had the passion then to go, how can we move? Because I saw black music having a moment through Grime Daily.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to give this to South Asian. So I did it as a .com. And that was just passion led. But then I did it for a year, and then in that time I discovered Be Young.
Yeah.
So I got focused on that. And then I did this deal at Columbia, so then I was just on that zone. But then years down the line, again, going to see the Afro beats, I spoke to Tai Tai, because I was like, if I'm going to attack this again, I need some guidance on this one.
Yeah.
Because I think it needs to be hit at a certain level.
Yeah.
So I would mean, Tai, this is like right before lockdown, during lockdown, we had met. Obviously, we was allowed to meet then.
Clearly, yeah, of course. Clearly, yeah. Legally, everything blessed. Yeah, got it.
So me and him were talking, and I kept on saying to him that, yo, T, I need 10 minutes of your time. And we couldn't find the time because we was both busy together, going places, doing things. And then he got back to New York and he was like, yo, you kept on saying you needed to talk to me. What is it you wanted to talk to me about? And I told him my idea. More so, idea meaning like, I was like, you know, like in America, you got those brown folks, like the Puerto Ricans and yeah. I was like, well, you probably think in the UK that is the same, like, but they're Indians, bro. Like,
it's the same. It's the same, but it's not. It's not the.
It's the reverse. Right, because when you go to America, you know, like you see the brown folks, they look like us and we look like them.
Yeah.
But the majority are from South America. So I was like, yo, T, the Indians, and so I was telling him about the culture and whatnot, and he loves my daughter's his niece, so he loves my daughter, and I was like, I want to give my daughter her Taylor Swift. I want to give her Kendrick Lamar,
so that she can see herself in.
She can see herself in, but it has to be done at a certain level, bro, and the sound. And he loved it.
Yeah.
So I initially went for guidance, and he was like, Shabz, I ain't gonna guide you, man. I want to do this with you. So I was like, oh, bro, let's do it.
Amazing.
So then we went down the Yellow Brick Road, but we was critiquing the sound, and we still are, where it makes sense for everyone and empowering and. So that's how DESI Trill, and that's why it came about.
So how are you going within the DESI Trill? Are there like lead producers? Are you got like a gang of producers that are making all the records, or are you just finding artists that are just good, that already have a setup themselves? How are you like finding talent?
We're finding talent. So we have a publishing division.
Oh, sick.
That goes via Sony on the administration. Shout out Big John. We connected with him. That's Ty's good friend.
Amazing. Legend,
right? And then we have the record front. Shout out Solution. We did the distribution.
Yeah.
And how we're finding them is just organically. Like, so for example, me and Ty were in LA 2 years ago, and we got introduced through Natanya, who signed to us, Indian artist, but currently in LA, incredible writer and artist.
Yeah.
She said, oh, can you come studio? I want to play this new record. So me and Ty went to the studio. But there was 3 other Indian kids there. Aman, Subhi, and Zeeks. So Subhi's the girl, Zeeks and Aman are 2 men, boys. So they started playing their beats of what Natanya's doing. But me and Ty, mouth dropped on the floor, was like, yo, you guys made this? They're like, yeah. So we immediately published them.
Wow.
So that's how we're finding it.
Okay.
And
so you're not data scraping. You're not chart metric going. Who's got the most views?
Nah, this is all passion led, bro. Like,
I love that.
This is all going back to the basics of what.
Do you think sort of that way of finding stuff? Do you think the business is going back to that, or do you think the business needs to go back to that? There's a lot of over the last sort of I'd say 4 or 5 years, a lot of A&Rs that have come up in a data era where they're finding stuff online and just following sort of spikes in data. Do you think it's really important for that change to go back to what you just said, or do you think that still has a place in modern day sort of A&Ring?
I think there's a place. There's definitely a balance on both, right? Because when it's like data driven, it obviously shows a spike of someone building a community. It goes back to that whole point of community. Right?
Yeah.
Someone's doing something great, which is why they're sort of sparking. But then it goes back to that A&Ring point as well. That balance needs to come in, because we need to turn this minute into an hour.
Yeah.
Because it's so microwavable now, music. And it's disheartening for me at times how albums are no longer the journey. It's just about this one's coming and this one. Because it's all our attention span is literally a YouTube short now.
Yeah, it is. It's quick. It's in and out.
It's in and out. And that's the disheartening part for me.
Okay.
But I think there is a balance where to help guide an artist to take the original fundamentals of what takes to be a longevity artist. Because if you see the pattern, Rich, right, which you know, but I'm just saying in general, most of the artists today whose catalogue is booming and living are artists from the 2000s.
Yep.
If we're talking Taylor Swift, if we're talking Ed Sheeran, and the list goes on. Because I look at some of the Spotify's playlisting and the artists doing the most, but majority of them are from the 2000s.
Yep.
And I think it's more so because of like the fundamentals of what it took to build an artist. You didn't have Instagram then, so
you couldn't bypass anything,
right? So a balance of that needs to happen. Like a lot of I tell my artists today, when you're on Instagram, which is brilliant, but don't forget to tell your story. You can't just shove out now. You've got to build a story. You got to
give people a reason to care.
give people reason to care and go, let me follow your journey from here to there. Like, I want to see you win. And I want to tell people, I remember him from when he was just doing a gig down the road.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there needs to be a balance and guidance of that. So again, like the algorithmic is good.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a cheat code for us.
Yeah, totally.
Especially as a business, right? Like, we can make
it can save you from making a few mistakes.
100%. But then there's that fun factor as well. Why we do it, because it's that reason why we came into this business and keeps us alive.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I hear it. Another question for you. This is all around DESI Talk. I'm fascinated about the culture and South Asia. And earlier this year, I was working along with a company called Graduation, and we were sort of doing some bits and bobs over there. And I found it really interesting that the contractual side of it, because in the UK we have a sort of standard contracts, and in America we have standard contract. In South Asia, I was really shocked because I was trying to get some deals across the line, and I was surprised by sort of the ability to get decent license periods and like just normal sort of thing. I feel in the UK and around Europe and US is normal. How have you found the challenges of sort of signing stuff that is coming out of that territory? And have you sort of had to like employ specialists to sort of help on that side of it? How or is it hustle?
Employ specialists?
Because I'm genuinely curious. No, it's not a joke.
Yeah,
it's like, the truth. It's a hard what you're doing. I don't think people understand, because everyone thinks like you go and sign an artist, boom, they sign to you, you fling the record out, and then you get the upside of it. But it's not. It's so nuanced. And
100%.
I'm interested in how you're finding that challenge and how you approach it.
I'm so glad you said that, man. You felt that pain as well, because oh man. I want people to understand, like, you can't just walk into this thing. It's not a joke. No, it's not. No one ever highlighted that before to me. Forget a podcast, in the conversation. Bro, it is challenging. Because like with the Indian business, right, they're only now stepping into a music business.
Yeah.
It's always been a Bollywood business. The singer has never been the singer. It's always been the actor fronting it, right? Yeah. So that's where they get a bit of leeway.
Oh, so in Bollywood, there's always a vocalist in the background and then they get dubbed in.
They get dubbed in.
Ah, okay. See, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah. I always thought it was the person doing the dance. That's a singer.
No.
So basically, these singers have been getting mugged off for time. So now they're like, right, it's my time. So you need to. Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah, okay, cool.
Exactly. So those singers from back then were legendary, so now it's only now artists are starting to be. It's becoming a business in India, which is brilliant. And again, I believe it's the power of the phone, because Bollywood was always a closed gate.
Yeah, right? so you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, and it was very controlled business, booming business. So a lot of these artists, some of the challenges that I found was how I've overcome some is through explaining to them how we operate as longevity and building, because they used to very much a time deal, so like 6 months. Yeah,
I've seen it, like 6 months, or even like a 2-year license deal where if you're investing, you know things take 6 months or a year to even get moving, and if you do a deal like that, you could be out of a deal, out of contract whilst the song's popping off, and then that person can then go and do a deal wherever you want, and all your work is all for nothing. The hustle is on 1,000. Like, I'll tell you one quick situation. There was this young girl I really wanted to sign, incredible talent. I was hunting her down, we was chatting, and then obviously we was talking to her father. So dad had said to me, all right, Shabz, I want to sign her to you for 6 months, and she's going to do love songs with you, but I'm also going to sign her over there, but she's going to do another type of song. Yeah, hits. We're going to do some hits over there, make loads of money, but with you... Like, help me understand that. And then he was like, no, you help me understand that. He was like... You tell me why I shouldn't do that to you. He was like, this is a very much Indian way of working. And I was like, no, it can't be that, because let me give you an example, a scenario. And what's your scenario? I said, okay, I produce it here, it goes out, but then that record label replicates that, and then he was like, yeah, I can guarantee that won't happen. You have my word. You have my word. I was like, all right, I'm out, man. And then I've had it again and again, because they treat it like a proper market stall. Some artists, it's like, I'm going to sign to 3 multiple labels. I'm like, And then I've had some going, all right, I want to do an EP with you. Cool. That's 6 months. And then I'll do another EP, 6 months. And then I'm like,
this stuff takes time. So you're gonna just give me an EP in 6 months, and I'll give you a new check, and you go again. It's like,
yeah. Of course, why not? Why wouldn't you do that for me?
So it's challenging, but they're starting to. But where a lot of us on the international level, Universal, Sony, they all have abiding sort of laws to follow now.
Yeah.
And so that's changing.
Okay, and they're being more flexible towards the territories. I remember having to do deals again for some majors where we're going to other territories like that, and we've got our sticking to our rules. It's our rules, but I just think you've got to respect territories. You've got to bend. You've got to, like, if you're in a territory where they're not used to doing stuff, then we have to find middle ground or something that sort of feels okay for them. Otherwise, you just lose deals.
Exactly. But it's about, because where's real humanitarians, or some of them are like, Shabz, it's a buyout. And I'm like, no, but I want you to retain something, man.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you'd be surprised. Me and Ty at times going, no, but you hold that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, give me the buyout. Give me extra money. And I'm like, no, but we want you to.
Yeah, we want you to have some wealth. We want you to, in 10 years, still be able to look back and get some change in your pocket.
And some of them think we're lying. I'm like, no, literally, you hold that. We don't, but this is not what the conversation. We can have a separate conversation, because our record contracts can't be buyouts.
So a large part of what you're doing is re-educating and sort of trying to sort of set a new standard in this space. I think you are. I think also you have the sort of benefit of having a clouty situation within Universal. You've got Rock Nation. You've got all these like big characters in the mix. So if I'm an artist coming out of South Asia or trying to do DESI TRILL music, I'm more likely to sort of trust what you're doing, and I probably more likely to have a big opportunity if we sort of go with what you're doing. And I think because of your experience and not only being an executive but being an artist as well, I think you can give somebody an amazing opportunity to be heard properly.
I appreciate that, and it's that. Because by the way, South Asia, India, Pakistan, these guys are producing incredible.
I'm hearing bits. There's unbelievable people coming out of it.
Producers, like we signed this kid, a producer on the publishing front called Wham out of Delhi. Produces loads of Young Sammy, who's our rapper, out from Delhi as well. And this kid's beats are incredible. Like, me and Tai have been placing our Indian producers that I was telling you about, that we've been discovering, on big international projects.
Oh wow, okay.
Yo, some big projects. Like next year, 2026, there's gonna be loads of placements on international rappers that these kids have done. And it goes back to that whole thing of, like, as A&R's just betting on raw talent.
Yeah.
Having that.
Being brave enough to go on then, have a go.
Exactly. But it's, you know, it's Rich, we're so custom.
But I love that. I love that gasses me. You saying it gasses me. I want to go and find somebody and back them. And like I said before about protection and backing, and like making sure you're finding these characters that have the ability to sort of transcend genres and do stuff early enough to sort of let them do it the right way.
But give yourself flowers as well, because off camera we was having a conversation about this young, incredible individual. And you've been backing him as a young exec coming up in the game, and so you are doing that.
Yeah, no, I think I enjoy. I appreciate you saying it, and I think that's what we all should be doing. I think that's the only way we sort of are able to live forever, by bringing people through.
That is it. You know what? You said it, and that's how the scene grows. Because I've seen this recent. Shah made you think, because
he's good, man.
He's sick,
he
right?
backs it every time,
and the way he speaks on the music business, I don't know how truth it is. I'm not to say he's lying, because he's very sort of indulged in the scene, but he was talking about majority of black execs being taken off their role.
Yeah, at majors.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, absolutely, at majors. And this is why this education, this bringing people in, is so important, because it's not so much, it is about giving opportunity, but also growing our business and guiding everyone to go, yo, this is how you can do it, because this is how we're all going to keep thriving.
Yeah, I agree. Rising tide lifts all boats, and if we can keep the business buoyant and keep these interesting characters coming through, these brave people that we can protect and help guide through, then there's an opportunity for the business to grow properly. And also, I also think the world's flat now, so you can be in every territory at once now for the first time ever.
I love that the world's flat now.
So we can all have a part of something internationally, globally, for the first time ever. And if we've got good people around us, and we're plugged in, and we're backing the right horses, we can see success like we've never had before.
I you know what? I totally agree, bro, man. It's exciting times, but there's a lot to fight through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was having this conversation yesterday as well. Technology has been a gift and a curse. Like, Because, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The gift is we're global now. The world is flat, right? But the curse is the mechanism behind it and technology dictating where we're going next. Like, it's always, I guess, it's always been the case, but the trend changes tomorrow.
Yeah. The law is catching up with it, so it's not even like there's stuff in contracts that people have, there's AI, there's things that have not been accounted for that we were using contracts from years ago. So it's evolving, but in change there's opportunity, and I think the main thing that you should be proud of on yourself and me too is like having built character over an extended period of time puts you in a position to sort of weather tricky situations better than most. So I think we're still on the pitch. We're still providing for our families whilst doing what we do.
Let me ask you, Rich,
yeah, go on.
What's been your sort of trick to stay on the pitch? Like for yourself?
For me, my trick, and I mean this dearly, my trick was that I've got such a good home life. I've managed to build, I've got a good my wife and my kids. My trick is that my home life is so amazing that I go to war with the world to protect it every day. And for me, it's so self-motivating, knowing I've got to protect that. So I get up every day and I love chasing down my day because for me, it all starts off with family. It starts off with having a reason to above yourself, rather than just I want to be successful. I want to be successful for X sort of thing. So that's my motivation, and that's what gets me up every day, and that's why I think I'll always be amongst it.
Powerful.
If that makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That makes total sense, man. I love that, man.
Okay, not to bring it to me, but we're going to round off the sort of the podcast. But there's two questions that I ask everybody, and we've done throughout the whole series so far, and that's tell me one thing in the business that's changed massively since you started, and then I want to know one other thing that hasn't changed at all. I like the idea of looking at the things that still mean something and look at the things that have really changed. Sort of.
That's a good question, man.
So first is the thing that's changed over the years. What's the biggest thing in your working life that has changed since you started?
Apart from the budgets and the money.
What, has it got bigger or smaller?
It's gone smaller.
It has. You know what? There's more people doing it.
Yeah.
There's more people doing it, and I think I've said before, the IPO thing has made everyone a magnifying glass over budget, so there's just no more room.
I mean, like the big, but we all know why that changed as well, because the markup on CDs and vinyl
was ridiculous. Packaging reductions. It was banter. It was like literally.
PPDs and that was just ridiculous. Whereas now, with the amount of streams to gain a pound, is just, and I get it. That's where it's. So that's one massive change. You know what? To be honest, that is one massive change. The technology is going back to that. Has been the change.
Yeah.
How people are receiving music. That's the biggest change.
And the visibility around it.
Visibility and the experience behind it. Like the experience back then of discovering an artist. Walking with the artist.
Yeah.
Like, remember the CDs and vinyls and just flipping it back to read who's in
I remember you look at. I used to be the credit bandit. I love credits. I love to find out who are the guys behind it. I love seeing people's name pop up on different multiple things, and I think I'm matching them up and going, okay, that's what he does. That's what he does. So
exactly.
I used to find that fascinating.
So that's the biggest change, I would say. You know what? Not the money, the experience. That's the biggest change.
What do you think still rings out true from when you got in the business to today?
What rings out truth? I think just the whole organic, based on the artists figuring things out for themselves and creating that sound. Again, it's that going back to that Soul Solid, where it's been able, artists are figuring things out for themselves and creating their own sound, and then getting back out there. Like, I think that still exists.
Still, like the people that have to find their way. Artists that have been left enough room to sort of find themselves.
Exactly. And again, that's the gift of the curse of the technology, because it's producing mass, which is brilliant. Music's for everyone.
Yeah.
But the filtration just needs to be handled a bit more. But anyway, like
I said, I think things are changing. I think things are always changing. I think as long as you stay on the pitch, long enough, you will end up sort of landing where you
chairs out here, man.
It is musical chairs, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, man. And I just want to just say that to everyone and anyone young or old watching this, man. For me, what's always kept me going is just staying focused on people, right? Like the consumers, the community of whatever demographic you're in, stay focused on them, because they're going to tell you where this the culture, the community of wherever genre you're in.
Yeah.
There's there's a movement there already that's been there. It's existing, but so just stay focused on them.
Yeah,
because they're telling you where this is going. They're telling you what they're into. I think all the rest of it is just complicated. We get tend to it's complex. It's not, man. Leadership and all of that, it's just all comes from being bold and staying focused on that, on the community, man.
I love that community. I love that aspect. Let it happen. It's already happening. There are people constantly doing it organically.
Exactly.
Just be observant and be aware.
Exactly.
And then zoom in.
Exactly that.
I love that. Listen, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate. I really enjoyed this conversation. I will get you back, and I think DESI TRILL is going to be massive, and I genuinely wish you the best of it. We can do some business along the way. That'd be great.
Yo,
you help me, I help you.
Especially those legal contracts.
Exactly.
Help each other.
No, but seriously, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming out, and I wish you the very best for DESI TRILL, bro. My guy. Love, man. Thank you. Peace.
Yay! Well done.
That was brilliant, Richard.
Sorry about that, guys. Good.
What happened, bruv?
Don't worry.
It's all good.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate everything.
That was brilliant.
I enjoyed it.
That was really good.
No,